Dan Ginchard there with Hill Speed, starting alongside his teammate Leandro Juncos. Different looking cars though, so I'm sure you'll explain that on commentary.
You can leave that to us.
Yes, absolutely. Let's hear from another driver then. Jason Pribyl didn't have such a great second race, did he?
No, unfortunately ended the race on the grass, stranded. He had I don't want to give it away. We spoke to him about the incident, but car wouldn't restart. He's shown good pace considering at the moment they're a one-car team with ADM.
We're going to go over to the ADM awning now. This was earlier on. What was he eating just before he went over? Was it some kind of...
I think it was a toasted pork pie.
Toasted pork pie. And then the chap that was with him, who may be a family member, I'm assuming it's possibly father, was talking about some kind of rolled up something else. I mean, they're basically enjoying all the food that Silverstone has to offer.
Jason, you're back again this weekend at Silverstone with ADM. We saw you at Donington Park. I think you've taken a step forward as a team this weekend in terms of pace. You're right in the mid-pack.
Absolutely. Qualifying was a great showing for us. Our best qualifying, obviously, only 2 rounds in, but it still felt good. I knew there was more on the table, but overall we put ourselves in a great position for the weekend, which was a change from Donington, yeah.
It's been very close in the midfield. We saw you getting involved in the battles in race 1 and race 2, but let's just touch on race 2 briefly. Unfortunately, it didn't end the way you wanted it to. Just talk us through the race up until that point, and then, of course, the incident that saw you not be able to finish the race.
Yeah, I had a great start, and I was really looking forward to the rest of the race. Got, I think, 1 position off the line, 1 position later in the lap, and then started falling behind. I think a lot of these guys have more experience in racing downforce cars than me, and that just showed because they were able to make moves and progress through the pack the way I wasn't. And then, yeah, obviously, as I was sort of getting into the rhythm, getting back into where I thought I should be fighting for, I just made a mistake. I think I could have made that move happen had I just braked a little bit harder and a little bit later. Just the combination of the two would have made more sense. And yeah, I just got in a bit too deep and spun myself around. So unfortunately, the car didn't start back up, and that was the race over. Yeah.
Yeah, small mistake with unfortunately large consequences, but of course it sounds like you've already learnt from that, and you'll be taking that forward. But you mentioned about some of the other drivers with more single-seater downforce experience. What sort of things are you looking at seeing that they're able to do that you're working on to be able to potentially do in the future in race 3 and then going forward for the rest of the year?
Yeah, this track specifically has a lot of high downforce corners. You got Kops, Maggots, Beckett's, and Stowe are the 2 that come to my mind in terms of, or the few that come to my mind in terms of just like how much you're relying on that. And unlike Donington, when you're behind a car, there's a lot of aero wash, and unsurprisingly, even though, I mean, we've got only 1 main plane, these cars still have front downforce, and when you get up behind a car like that, it doesn't work anymore. So getting to grips with the fact that you won't have that sort of front end anymore, and figuring out how to time your exit through a corner to make a pass is something new to me that I'm working on. Yeah.
We'll see you, of course, working on that throughout the rest of the season. How do you rate this weekend so far?
I think it's tough to say because my expectations are always high, but I've definitely leveled them out a little bit. I'd say at the moment they're about a 5 out of 10 because we had a good qualifying, but the races haven't been quite there for me. So obviously we have a good chance for race 3. So we'll see what we can do with that.
Jason, we'll look forward to seeing how you get on in race 3. Always easy to spot with the ADM cars, pink flashes on the wings.
Yeah, I do love the look of that thing.
Well done, Piers. Great chat there. We can now see Jason's car here. It's a very striking car, nice grey with a few blue tones, a bit of carbon fibre. Is that actually carbon fibre or is that a sticker?
I think it's a
vinyl.
carbon
Fibre, yeah. I couldn't see in the light there. It looked like it was a carbon fibre effect, but why would you make an effect when it's made of carbon fibre?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense at all. Doesn't make any sense. We got to the bottom of the mystery food, by the way. It was a brownie rolled in a pancake and toasted.
Yes, I believe so. They really like their culinary creations in the ADM awning, but creation that they're trying to make is a good race using the tyres tactically. You see that Jason's got 2 new tyres on the left-hand side. He's the only one inside the top 5 or 6 drivers, maybe even at the front half of the grid that's got the new tyres. That'll give him a bit of an disadvantage on potentially lap 1, but an advantage especially in the middle stage of this race.
Yeah, so it looks like Jason and the team are really banking on being able to get an advantage with that as the tyres come into form. Let's move back slightly then.
For round 6 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, and of course the reverse grid race. It was Baxter starting from pole position, but was already passed by Pribyl down into the first corner. Ginchard straight around the outside as well. went up into second position. Wilson was trying to battle with Thomas Ingram Hill. Meanwhile as well, Isaac Phelps into the mix. And with Ingram Hill down the inside of Wilson, he was pushed out wide and would drop a whole host of positions. And the number 27 Ardent car would rejoin the race circuit, but a long way down. He'd still keep his eyes focused and try and rise his way back up the order. Pribyl, though, for the race lead was being under pressure from Dan Ginchard, who would find his way through after this mistake from Pribyl, running out wide as they would head through the Vale chicane and then out onto the Hamilton straight. Ginchard then your race leader, who would try and pull away as quick as possible. The two elites were also trying to work their way through the order, with Catoulis working his way through, getting past Tom Ingram Hill and working his way up comfortably inside the top 10. There was this moment as well as Isaac Phelps and Jack Taylor would make contact. It would be a retirement for Taylor, and it would be a very big issue indeed for Isaac Phelps. There was also this instant as Hilton would clip the rear end after a big slide, and Alex Berg would unfortunately go round. This would cause the safety car, both those incidents happening at the same point. Dan Ginchard in control as he would come through to start the penultimate lap of the race, as the safety car would come in and would get that restart done very nicely from Jason Pribyl. There was still plenty of drama further down as Dayton Coulthard was battling with Alex Catoulis on the final lap of the race, the two of them putting everything on the line just outside of the top 5, with Catoulis the championship leader at this moment. Then there was this contact as Coulthard into the final corner would send Catoulis around wide, and Dan Ginchard would come through the final corner to take victory for the first time in GB4 and the championship lead.
Let's move over, Jason. How are you doing? How does it feel to be on the podium?
It feels great. It's a feeling I want to get used to.
Of course, I know you've got a lot of people watching you here. It must be great to sort of celebrate with people. I know you're a little bit far from home, but to celebrate with the people around you. And talk me through that race.
Yeah, it's been great to have everyone at ADM around me. They've been taking care of me for more than just this season, for the past probably about a year now, and they've made me feel at home while racing in the UK. Unfortunately, the race went well. The start was incredible. Just got off the line so well, and made a mistake coming out of club, and that curb just gets you. It throws the rear end out, and I was glad to keep it on track, but unfortunately lost the position, so yeah.
Well, things you can make up for in the future. We were talking before about the little snack you were having when we came to your awning. What was it that you were having there?
All right, so we've got Gary, our team principal. He's a bit of a danger when he goes to Costco. And gets some brownies. We've got all sorts of sweets in there. It's really a bad influence, but we've got a toasty maker. So I put some pancakes and brownie in between the pancakes and made a toasty out of that, and that was my dessert yesterday. And
I like that.
I might do it again because it seemed to work out.
Yeah, good luck dessert. But the thing is being confident and comfortable in a team is really important. So it's great to see you having a good time. I've got to move on, but congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Awesome stuff. And we'll finally Andrzej Junkos. We'll just